What's up, everybody? Ah, feels good to be back. Welcome to another episode of Scream Fix. I'm your host, Will, and as always, it's my illustrious co-host, Brian, aka we're gonna call him Feller. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's been a nice break, but I'm happy to be back.
Ah, I I don't know about you, but it's been rough not having this screaming outlet, and I am ready to just kind of let one loose today. I don't know. I don't know about you. Like, have you kind of missed this event we've
Oh,
had?
I've missed this event for sure, but I'm here to scream for joy. I'm vaccinated. The world's getting back to normal.
Yep.
I'm a happy camper right now. So,
Hell yeah, dude, that's a good point. We could have some like joyous screams today, you know?
yeah,
I know you
that's
just
not an epiphany over here in this camp.
sorry, I'm a little slow. But I mean, it is just good to be vaxxed. I that kind of that escaped me that this is our first one since that change in the world. So we got a lot of good reasons to scream today. And
Mm, mm.
I mean, I want to just get right into it as long as you're comfortable with that. I don't know if you needed a little more time to kind of like grease up the lungs, but
Mm-mm. No, I actually am going to do something that's never been done before, ever, anywhere in the history of Screams and Scream podcasts.
whoa.
I say that without doing any research, but today I'm going to actually select to do what they call as an internal scream, which
Oh,
is really going to have to dig deep inside myself to sell this and, make it right. Make it right.
okay.
Don't make it and do it wrong. Make it right. That's what they say in showbiz.
Well, I for one am excited to see that, but actually, I was actually going to ask you, do you realize what we are 1 week away from?
Duh, dude.
I don't know if you do
June
know.
8th.
Oh,
June 8th. I'm just kidding. Low key, obviously.
yes, sir.
Can't
I
wait.
Me neither, dude. It's been a drought from this Marvel content, and I am ready to dive back in, especially for Loki. It looks like we are gonna get some zany time travel, dimension hopping, reality altering hijinks, and I think it has the potential to be the best one yet, which is saying a lot because, if you've been watching us, you know how much we've goozed over both WandaVision and Falcon, but I think this could take the crown from both of them.
Yeah, so I was about to ask you the best yet. You mean Marvel TV show?
Yeah, yeah, sorry. Just I mean not that I mean we don't need to get into the whole discussion now about like the tier list of the whole MCU, but yeah, I was just meant the shows for what I was saying right there.
Okay, interesting, interesting. I didn't know. Will you, since we're just talking about this, are you gonna consider this in the
Oh, we what a cliffhanger. He's back. Yo, we lost you there.
Yeah, just me? You're still there the whole time?
Yeah, just you just cut out, but uh I'm dying in anticipation about what you were about to say.
Well, who knows now? I'll never remember. What were we just talking about?
You were asking me if I meant like we were talking about the tier list, and you said,
Oh,
"Are
I'll just
you?"
ask you now. Are
Oh,
you going to consider this in the Thor family? What just happened though? I'm so confused.
I don't know. I thought maybe your internet
I
died
heard
or
a
something.
ding over here. Well, I mean, what, my battery? Is that what you just said?
No, 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 your internet. I thought you might have like
Oh,
lost your internet
internet.
connection or something.
Oh, maybe that's not really explaining everything that happened though.
I don't think it
That
would have
was
come back that
interesting.
fast. Maybe
Yeah,
you
let's just
accidentally
move
clicked
on.
something. All right, yeah.
I knew that's where we would end up, but no, I did not do that. I don't understand what just happened. No one will ever be able. Could you hear me the whole time?
No, no, no. You like left the call completely.
Interesting. Interesting. I was just checking my power strip to see if it had looks like maybe. Oh, that's what happened, but no, that's not it. Anyways, do
Bryce
you
is
think it's
subverted.
in the Thor family? Who's trying to
Uh,
silence this question?
what I mean, I guess depends on what you mean by that, but yeah, yeah, I guess I would
Okay.
consider it. Like,
Considers it.
I mean, I feel like it. I mean,
Well, this is a tough question for
I
you.
know. I'm trying
I've got
to.
some hard hitting ones in here. You better get ready.
I'm trying to parse what exactly that means to me, but I would say yes because like it's Loki, and you know, I don't think Thor's really going to be involved with this at all. If that's what you mean, I think we might get some like.
Thor's going to be in it, though. We'll get to that later. Let's
Okay.
focus on this question for now. So, do you consider it in that family of movies?
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Just
yeah,
yeah. Just yeah.
because it's not going to go in its own thing by itself. Maybe Loki season 2, maybe eventually Loki season 8. You'll just see it as its own thing, different than Thor. I don't
True.
know. I don't know how many seasons they're doing, or if they're even going to do multiple. But I do have one question, so check it.
What's up?
Loki, he's not actually a god, right? God of mischief, but not really.
Yeah, that's always tough. I've been confused on that because I don't think he's technically a god because he. But I don't know. That's a really
Because
good
he
question.
doesn't even have like he Thor's parents didn't like have a bastard son. That's not what he is, right? He's just a
Right.
stolen baby from the ice giants.
Correct. Correct. But maybe
So
I mean Odin is a god, obviously. Maybe he's strong enough to have like imbued like additional power into Loki just because he wanted to, or so. I mean, who knows? But I would say he's technically not a god.
yeah, and so like I feel like a lot of times in the MCU, him and his brother will like say like they're gods or semi-gods or demigods or something.
Yeah.
But
Well, Thor is right. I mean,
yeah. That's my point. But Loki's not. Anyways, that's all long time ago. We don't need to revisit Thor 1. But my question is, he's a mama's boy, right? And the mom, what is she? Because Thor's mom, and biological mom, and Loki's stepmother, mother of capture,
mother of capture. Yeah.
female captor, um, is what is she? She's a witch, right?
Correct. I think she might even. Well, I was gonna say she might even be an original witch, but I'm not gonna
I
actually
mean,
say that
whoa! I don't. I
because
just for the people out there like me that don't know what the hell that means.
yeah. Well, I don't like. I don't either. So I didn't. Even though I just said it, I'm not gonna actually say it. I'm not gonna actually say it
Phony.
because I just made that up. That's not like a term, or if it is, like
Okay.
that's a coincidence. But I think she is like one of the OGs, and
Okay. Like a Agatha's mom type thing.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm not like saying that with any authority. So like nobody quote me on
Yeah.
that. That's just like what I think. Because I mean, I assume
But her
she's.
and Loki have similar abilities, right? Didn't Loki take after his mom with the ability to do a lot of the different stuff he does,
I think so,
like his duplicity and all that kind of stuff?
which makes me wonder like, does Loki have those abilities because he was taught by his captor mom, or do like because the only ice giants we've seen like back in Thor 1, they weren't like casting spells, right? Like that's not like an ice giant thing.
I think they might have been casting
Oh,
spells.
you think so? Okay. Well,
You
in
know
any
what I'm
case, the
remembering
mom.
from that movie though is they had very, 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 and I'm gonna use a word from like wow, but like or no, I'm not gonna use a word from wow. But like wow, you have the things that you can ride, the
Mounts.
pets. What are the mounts? That's the word
Yeah.
I was trying to find. Loki's been missing out on his ice giant mount for a long time because remember the big ice giants had that like huge thing that rose up to like kill Thor and Thor 1. Didn't that happen?
Oh, I kind of remember what you're talking about, but I haven't seen Thor 1 since you and I rewatched it pre Infinity War, which I guess wasn't that long ago, but it's been several years.
And like only touching the Tesseract revealed to Loki that he wasn't a human,
Well, I don't
right?
remember that either.
His hands like turn blue and he's like, "What?"
Oh yeah, so like wait. He Okay, yeah, you're right. I forgot that that was like a reveal. Like he thought he really was just the son. He didn't know he was like
Yeah, he
adopted.
didn't no idea. He when later on when he confronts him, he's like, "I always was suspicious, but of course now it all makes sense."
That's right. Okay, yeah. And so the was it the Tesseract or the Mind Stone? Because I feel like the Mind Stone would make more sense, but I think it was the
Mind
Tesseract.
Stone.
The Mind Stone was
Which
the
one's
one
the
that was in
Mind
the
Stone?
staff, but the Tesseract I think was the one he had first, right?
Mind stones in the staff. Okay,
from
yeah.
like Avengers 1.
Tesseract is the thing that
Is
he
the
had first.
square.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a square Tesseract for sure. 100%. Forget about it. That's what he grabs and gets away in.
And
Um,
that's what's setting up this show. But I thought, yeah, never mind. I'm
right, and so
confusing myself.
that's something to consider too. The Thor that we've all come to love. Thor one, he like tries to kill his brother and his dad. It doesn't work.
Wait,
Then
Loki.
yeah, Loki.
Yeah, you said Thor.
Yeah, he tried to kill Thor and his dad.
You said the Thor we've come to know and love. I think you meant Loki.
Oh! I'll beat everyone up. Yeah, the Loki we come to know and love is not going to be the one we're getting because like
Right,
Thor one, he tries to kill his brother and his dad.
right.
Then he gets caught. Avengers happens. He tries to take over Earth. Doesn't work, and he's going to jail. Then he's in jail, and all this other stuff. His brother breaks him out. He betrays his brother again. Then they reunite in Thor 3, and then he dies honorably. Finally, Infinity War, making his like full turn as like a hero. But we don't get any of that. We're
Right.
getting him right after Avengers, after his defeat and none of his lessons learned, and his father's still alive to him. His father hasn't died yet. Tons of character growth immediately taken out.
True.
So do you think this Loki will feel more sinister to us than we're familiar with the last time we visited this character?
Yeah, I mean absolutely cuz like you said it's not the same character. Like figuratively and literally he's a variant Loki. Which we can dive more into the nuts and bolts of like what we think's happening in the show, but I'm trying to decide if I want to say this now or wait, but it's definitely going to be interesting cuz like he hasn't none of the stuff that kind of made him a good guy, which arguably he still wasn't a good guy at the end, but none of that's happened, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I am going to save the one thing for a little bit later, so I'll just stop myself there. But I will say one interesting thing is that now I'm going to get this wrong because I'm not looking at it right now, but in the trailer he says it's Loki variant like L1103 or something, which um even if it's just uh well, so L is a Roman numeral for 50, and so I was wondering like is the L meaning like 50 and then that number, or is L just maybe stand for Loki? But if it's the Roman numeral, then that number is like way even bigger than 1,000, which just shows like how much crap is going on if there's that many variants. Which even if the L isn't a Roman numeral, still 1,000 is a lot. I'm sure that's just a random thing. But anyway, I'm kind of losing my own train of thought here. But the point was that if I think we might see a whole bunch of Lokis if that's not even confirmed already. And so I think while our main character one is not the one we're used to, I think he'll probably will have some of that same character development, and we'll kind of like maybe um become more like the one we're used to seeing. But I think we're gonna see like a shit ton of different ones, and some of them might be like pure evil. Sorry, it took me a long time to get to that point, but
Yeah,
I got there.
interesting. So you think there'll be, and you say, is it confirmed or not confirmed? I didn't know anything about this, but I really like the idea of there being multiple Lokis and throughout the show. I didn't even know that. That could be really fun. Like they might like kill some off or have some fail and like die. That could be hilarious even.
Yeah.
Um,
So all okay, I'll still wait. I was gonna dive into more about what I think the show might be.
Well, we've already covered what he's done, where we left him. I think it might be in time to go into the show, but here's one thing I want to say first, guys. Just bring it in here real quick, screamers. I just want to say I think Loki's a bit misunderstood. Perspective and point of view matters, and everything's told from the heroes, Thor's perspective. But even Thor 3, yeah, taught us like their perspective is all whack anyways. They were all a bunch of murderers. The ice giants were just another race. They were trying to all go murder and conquer and control. and then he was captive by these people who are arrogant, egotistical maniacs. Like, how is he supposed to grow up normal?
True.
And a lot of his schemes aren't as like Thanos is in, like, they make sense in a way, but they almost kind of make sense in a way, and they always like seem kind of harmless. And we have to remember that he was risen or like raised by God. So sometimes when he's like being emotional, like not showing emotions, um, emotionless. There we go.
There we go.
He doesn't care about humans because they like mean nothing to them. Like, and I think that's just accurate portrayal of what that type of person raised in that environment would be like, and not necessarily meaning that he's like a savage or a bad guy and a villain. So just wanted to say that. I know I'm out here repping for my guy. It's like
Uh,
Axel over my shoulder over here. He understands what it means to make tough decisions and not be everyone's favorite guy in the room at all times.
no, that's a good point. And I mean, especially as a god, which, he may or may not be, but essentially he is, right? Uh, you probably like we don't care too much about what ants think, and he probably feels similarly, at least at the beginning of his arc that we've seen in these movies so far. So it makes sense. And plus, having a literal god be your brother and living in his shadow your whole life, like you're bound to kind of be the kind of mischievous one. So I don't know. I think that's why a
Yeah,
lot of people love Loki, because like everyone can kind of like, if not relate, understand.
having a sibling or a rival or someone you're always competing with, and then it's like Thor, who's like this perfect asshole guy,
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm great, and Loki's just like, yeah, but like I'm smart, and everyone's like, fuck being smart.
Ooh, cool spells, Loki.
Yeah, I'm Thor, I'm strong, and it's like, okay, so you're in charge? That makes no sense. Loki's way smarter. Anyways, let's just not make it a fight. But I'm just saying that I think he's misrepresented.
That's fair. And
Yeah,
I'm just super excited that we're about to get I think this is 8 episodes.
I think it's six.
It's six. Okay, I wonder why WandaVision was 8. Because Falcon was only 6, right? As well.
Yeah, I think these are going to be longer, like Falcon. But yeah, let's get into it. I'll tell you what I know because it's not much, and it sounds like you already have a lot of knowledge, and I'm excited to hear about it. But the TVA, I learned what that was: time variant authority. Owen Wilson's a part of it. Apparently, he's playing Morbius. I'm not familiar with
Wow.
that character. Then they're fixing reality because that's in the trailer. And then I saw that people attached to it that are rumored to be in it, IMBD styles, Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. I think Chris Hemsworth as well, and I think all that could be like going to these different realities in certain time periods and running into them, and maybe all in one scene even could be fun.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I mean, I know IMDb is not necessarily gospel for what's happening, but I hadn't even heard the about like RDJ and the Chris's or whatever. But that's interesting. And I think that without jumping too far ahead, we're definitely gonna there's time travel and shit going on in this show, right? So one of the things I think we might could see that would be cool is so Avengers 1, Avengers v Loki. We already revisited that in game during the time heist, which that's
Hmm.
what set this all into motion. Because
Hmm.
the Loki we're
Right,
about
right,
to
right,
be
right,
the main
right, right, right,
character
right, 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 right.
goes away. I think it'd be cool if we now see that if we go back to that again, and we're now seeing it from like future Loki's perspective because he also was there. Like kind of like there's the original scene, there's the in-game Avengers that are there,
Like
and
there's
now there's
multiple Lokis running
Loki.
around.
Yeah, like I think that'd be really cool.
I
And
bet there's some type of that, right?
yeah, I think there's got to be. And so anyway, all that to say is that like I guess that's where those actors could be if they are credited because it might just be their old scenes or whatever.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it'll definitely be some of that with them. I also think I see ScarJo in the. I don't think she likes being called that though, so I'll get that corrected. Scarlett Johansson in the trailer. I see in one of the trailers. I feel like Loki and her sitting on a rock and her red hair, and I'm like, oh man, maybe that's the scene. Maybe she comes back for that. He could hopefully maybe be there. I don't know.
I'm gonna throw a little image up of what you're talking about because I actually thought about we would talk about this.
Oh,
I
nice.
think that and we'll go more into that a little later, I think, but I actually don't think that's ScarJo. But the
Uh,
conversation the conversation I've seen has been kind of divided. Um,
nice. Okay, one more thought about something you just said. The Loki that you said the Loki that we last saw kind of caused this from their time heist. I have a theory. I agree that he might have caused this, but I think we might see some part of this show, and it is only 6 episodes, but maybe like 10 minutes worth, where there's an option here that I think everyone's not considering that necessarily maybe we're passing over, maybe even, but he's got to once he gets away with the Tesseract, I don't think he just gets away. And in like one of the trailers, we see him in a sand dune, and then he's like maybe getting captured, or that's kind of like how they edit it. But I'm thinking he might get away and rule, and then his absolute like win everything, and so then his absolute rule as him as king it doesn't work, and it ends up to all the branching realities, and then he's like captured by them. But I think we could see something like he doesn't just escape with the Tesseract, land somewhere and get captured, but he escapes and then tries to go set up to be king and like wins, and then his outcome of whatever he does. It doesn't have to be like on Thanos' scale either, but like whatever winning looks like ends up not working for him, and then that's when the time variant steps in potentially. But I don't know. It's just a theory I have that I thought, man, that'd be cool if they did something like that that no one even realized or saw coming.
okay, I kind of think we get something like that, but not in that way. Uh, so let's just give a back up a little bit. What just give a quick set the
Back
stage
it up.
that so we just talked about the time heist thing where the Tesseract, the Loki, presumably the Loki that's the main character of what we're about to see, is the one that grabs that, disappears. And because of that, he's changing reality, he's changing history, he's causing problems, right? So the TVA, like you said, the Time Variance Authority, are like the keepers of the timeline, essentially, I think is like a real basic way to put it that doesn't do it justice, but they're like this
I get
whole
that.
they're like this whole organization that their whole job is to monitor all the infinite timelines of the multiverse and make sure that things go according to the plan. I don't know about that, but they're obviously like the
I got a
judgment.
movie that's like exactly like this, so it's very sad to hear this already exists.
Well,
Man,
so they're in charge of that, and I guess whatever our Loki does kind of messes up what they deem to be appropriate, right? So they go and get him, and the show is then about using him to try to maybe fix the problems he himself caused, or using him to just fix problems that he maybe did not cause, but just using the Loki because they have him at their disposal. What I'm thinking is to tie into what you were saying about the like having his kingdom and stuff. Is I think that there's probably not too long of time after he disappears. Like I feel like they probably get him really quick, at least from the perspective we're seeing. But then, like we mentioned earlier, I think there's going to be a lot of other Lokis that like him with the Tesseract was like throwing a rock in the pond, right? And all the different ripples. And so I think they're going to use him to try to like fix the other shit. And among that other shit, I think there could be like a Loki that is like supreme ruler. And that's one of the ones that like they have to go beat and stop or et cetera, et cetera. Which,
yeah, I don't think he'll always be the problem, but that's a good. I like that idea.
because like in the trailer, it showed. Now we don't know if it's the main Loki or not, but it showed like several different ones. Like it shows the one that is like the presidential pin or whatever.
Yeah, I
Um,
feel like that's just him coming in and out of the timeline though, doing work.
it
And the
very well
tra
could
in the
be.
trailer, I always think it's the same guy, even when he's wearing different clothes.
Yeah.
I think it's the same guy.
Yeah, well, it very well
Um,
could be, but it could also be like different variants where that he's going to be running into. And just to touch on it, the person you think's Black Widow, a lot of people think that's Lady Loki. So that's just
who's
one of the
that?
variants that he's going to be running into.
Was Lady Loki just another iteration in the comics of Loki's character, or is that like his sister or
No,
his
yeah, no,
mom?
it's like another version of him.
It's like Iron Heart for like Iron Man,
No, 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 like because
or
that's
like
just a different character.
Miles Morales versus Peter Parker.
No, I think it would still be like a version of Peter Parker, so it wouldn't be like Miles. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still
So it would
Loki,
be like
but
Andrew Garfield versus Tom Holland.
yeah, I think that's my understanding at least. But
Okay.
um,
Yeah, okay.
so anyway, so he presumably gets captured right by the Time Variance Authority, who is this organization I think based on these three Time Lords or Timekeepers. I forget what they're called, but they're like the big like statues from the trailer. Actually, I think I have a little thing up for it as well. And presumably, and some of the stuff I'm saying is like generalized comic knowledge. I won't ever just say anything that's just like a straight up spoiler. It's obviously all speculation. But um in the comics, those three Time Lords or Timekeepers, again, whatever they're called, were created by a character named the One That Remains, which is like
His
a
name is the one that remains.
yeah, and what he is he's like the last surviving member of the TVA, and like as like the multiversal cycle of time or whatever you want to call it like starts over, he like remained and created the Time Lords to like restart the Time Variance Authority and teach them so that they can now continue on. So presumably it's like a cycle thing where like maybe time ends and starts over, and so the One That Remains is the one that remains from the time before, and he's restarting the organization. Now, I don't know, the MCU might not do anything like that, and also that might not even be the truth in the comics, but it's at least something that's presented in the comics. But the way the trailer makes it seem like with these statues in the picture I've got up is that like they're like deified, right? They're like this whole organization is probably run on like the mythos of these three creatures, which I think, or at least I presume, that probably has never even been seen by anybody that works there. I feel like it's more of like a myth and a legend, which I think is interesting because in the bits we've seen of the trailer, Loki, I don't remember the exact words, but he's like talking about like, oh yeah, you guys are all playing your parts like clowns. Like he's basically shitting on all of it, right? And I think it kind of just ties into exactly how like he's manipulated people. He thinks that's what's happening here. At least that's what I'm guessing. And so I feel like there's going to be a whole like side of the show that maybe kind of like dives into the truth of this organization, and maybe there's like some corruption in it, and I don't know. I feel like there's going to be cool like crosses and double crosses between like Loki and the organization, and like just finding out the truth of all of it, which
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of the trailer. Is like when he's like, "I'm insulted that you think you could manipulate me."
yeah.
I've been 10, 8, 900 steps. I was thinking humorously that that could be a speech from like episode one that gets ending in ep one, and it looks like Loki already has the upper hand and is like going to get away, and maybe the episode or not the episode, but the series is going to be about like them chasing him all again. And then like Owen Wilson like comes out of a corner and like just knocks him out, and he's like, "Oh, Loki, 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 Loki." Because I'm really excited about Owen Wilson. The
Me
the
too.
trailer has sold him well, so hopefully he has lots of lines. He's in it. I don't want him to be in it like for 2 of the 6 episodes. I'll be annoyed that they marketed it the way they did.
I would be too. I presume he's like the second lead the way they've been
I
doing
hope
it.
so.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
same.
And I know we've barely seen anything, right? But from the pulse we've gotten, do you think he's like a true? Well, they're obviously not allies, right? Because it's almost like Loki's his prisoner. But do you think there's more going on there? Do you think he's kind of got like his own sinister kind of motivations, or do you think he actually is just like, for lack of a better term here, like just the cop, or do you think there's more going on?
I think he is who he says he is, or presents well presents himself to be. But yeah, I don't think there's anything hidden or a second secret sinister agenda.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trusting on that guy.
Wow.
I love me some Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
He wouldn't just come up in here and try to trick me. That would not be cool.
Agreed. And
Owen Wilson is cool.
I kind of hope that's the case, but like I was just saying, I do hope there is something more going on with the TVA that is like they're not what they seem kind of thing, and like maybe there is some corruption to
Why
be
is
seeded
that?
out.
Why can't they just be what they seem?
I mean, I just feel like there's
They probably have their own agenda, but can't their agenda be keeping the timeline in order?
it can be, but like who's to say like why do they have that authority? Like why are they the ones chosen to deem like what is allowed to happen and what's not? Yeah, I think there might be someone somewhere behind the scenes that's like using that for selfish purposes and not just like the good of the universe type of thing.
Hmm.
Because like
Hmm.
they just delete people out of the timeline and then like delete whole universes. Like we saw in the trailer that
Well, if they need Loki's help, there has to be some kind of restrictions that they can't get involved in, right? They
yeah,
could
that's a
just
good
delete
point. I
people.
was wondering that is like maybe because he is I don't know, maybe because he is a god or maybe because like he's like
But
a
he's not really a god, bro.
but you know what I mean. Or maybe it's because he's like a key variant person that he's like allowed to do all these other things. Like maybe he's like fate
Omniplex.
chosen. But that actually reminds me, I'll throw up one other little image. I know you can't see it, but it when Loki's brought in
Whoa.
to the TVA and they're kind of giving him the lowdown, they show that graphic that's all the timelines splintering off. Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Looks like
Which
a branch with
yeah,
roots.
which is interesting because it's the same kind of visual we're given in Endgame or I think it's Endgame where the ancient one, is talking about the Infinity Stones. She's like, when one leaves
Yeah,
the branch, it's like the
yeah,
same
yeah.
same
Kind
kind of
of,
visual.
kind of, kind of,
Which,
kind of.
well, it's just kind of because Endgame and Infinity War kind of like contradicted their own time travel rules at certain points. So I think the fact that we're getting the branch timeline visual again here is kind of like reinforcing the fact that that's how it works. That you know, if we have this incident with Loki and the Tesseract at this point that caused, X amount of branching realities and uh there it's not necessarily just the main reality is now different. It's that there's multiple realities now, right? And just stop me if this is getting confusing because I know time travel is getting wonky and I'm probably not articulating it right. But
Yeah, I'm not necessarily confused, but maybe I am.
well, just what's interesting is that the branching realities that they're showing him, and presumably they're saying like, "This is what happened because of what you did. Now help us fix it." At least that's my guess. Is what's interesting. Blah, blah. What's interesting is that there are branches that happened in the past, which was which wouldn't logically really make sense, other than that
Yeah, but
they're
again, I keep telling you, I think Loki's gonna get this Tesseract and then come to power and then maybe do something and then maybe his rule or power or whatever move um causes an explanation to all of this other stuff.
no, yeah, yeah,
Um
agreed. I just think
yeah.
that's super interesting that it's like this event that happened here, like shit goes crazy because even shit in the past is changing now. Like, we obviously know there's time travel and reality hopping involved, so perhaps he even like escapes from them and causes even more chaos, or maybe it's other Loki variants that are doing stuff. But what another?
Hmm.
I guess this is as good a time as any to bring it up. But one of like the TVA's biggest adversaries across time, because they're the time-based organization, is Kang the Conqueror, which we are confirmed to be getting him in Ant-Man 3. So it would just be really interesting to I don't think we'll see him in this show, but I think we could
Maybe
like have
tease his
mention.
reality or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we could get that. And I think that I mean, I'm reading a lot into just that one graphic, but I think the branches in the past and stuff could maybe even represent like his shenanigans that maybe were all like started off by the fact that Loki got the Tesseract or whatever.
Okay, okay. That
So
would
yeah,
suck.
I don't know. I can't wait to get Kang
For
stuff.
Loki.
I don't think we'll get it here, but I do know that like his one of his love interests from the comics is like in this show, and I think she works for the TVA. So the seeds are definitely there, and we could get some little tidbits, but like I doubt he shows up or anything.
And you know Marvel loves planting the seeds, you know?
Yeah,
So they've got movie plans we don't even know about. They're writing the scripts. They got people in play. We got to put this guy here so we can come back and get him at this point in time. So I don't doubt that we'll have some hints at some future guest stars or um, just cameos with because of the nature of this
yeah,
series.
and exactly, dude. Like because we can go to any alternate reality, we can go to any place in time. They could literally tease anything. Like nothing would be off the table. Like we could see mutants, we could see the Fantastic Four, we could see Kang, we could see Apocalypse from ancient times. Like I
Yeah,
don't know. I
I
don't think they'll do
hopefully
anything too crazy, but they could.
Apocalypse was that last X-Men movie, right? Or second to last?
Yeah, yeah. He's like an ancient mutant, one of the first ones.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, which we do see the Mount Vesuvius eruption in the trailer. So like they definitely go to the past. Which that's one of the things I'm most excited to see is like they teased that and they teased Loki as DB Cooper. And so it'd be great to see like all these like mysteries and like cool stories from like the real world. Uh their explanation is that Loki was causing mischief.
I could see that. That would be fun. I'm just really excited. The past two series have been amazing. Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision, both just I thought like, oh, these things will, hold my appetite until the next movie, but it's like these have been amazing, full course meals on their own. I think that this will be the same, more of the same.
Yeah. Uh I hope so. I don't know why it wouldn't be. It feels like poised to be even better really almost with all the craziness that they could do. And Tom Hiddleston just kills it.
Always,
But
always
as
big
has
fan.
everyone so far, but him especially, he's like a great casting.
Yeah, I
And
don't know much about the cast, but I'm a huge Tom Hiddleston fan. Same with Owen Wilson. So, like I said, I hope those two have a lot in it. And I'm sure, like you pointed out, they're gonna have a great group altogether. As I've said before, the best thing Marvel does is like getting the casting right. They always get the right people and pick the right stories. So
shout out Sarah
I'm
Finn.
excited. Yeah, shout out Sarah Fan.
um,
Um,
there was there was one other thing. Oh, let me throw up this other graphic. I got one other graphic I'm throwing up.
he wants another graphic,
It
guys. Give
was
it to him.
the it's from the trailer and it shows Loki in like a post-apocalyptic New York and like you can see the shattered Avengers Tower in the background. Uh, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know if I remember that one exactly, but I'm with it.
It essentially just shows Loki and there's like the destroyed New York behind him. Um,
Okay.
and so what I've seen people speculate is that is Avengers 1 if Loki wins is maybe that's what that reality is.
Hmm.
I thought that was super interesting. And anyway, in the trailer, it just shows it for like a split second, and it shows our Loki, which maybe it's not, but I mean, how could you know? It shows him kind of just like looking around, like being like, "What's going on here?" So, I don't really have a question for you per se, but I don't know. I'm just excited to see what the heck that is and what that could lead to. And
Yeah,
I
the
just
trailer's giving us a lot, and that'll be a cool moment. I definitely could see him like in that moment having a couple others similarly as well, but having like a futures past Christmas story, like interactions with him, different versions of himself, getting character growth through that, being like, oh man, this is what we wanted. This is all we wanted. And he'd be like, yeah, we won. He'd be like, this is us winning. I think I have it wrong, or you got it wrong. I would. This wouldn't be what it looked like if I won.
Man, that I would love to see that.
I,
I
I I didn't anticipate any of that until this conversation though. I didn't know there would be multiple Lokis. I didn't picture this Loki interacting with other Lokis. I just thought of him going into different timelines and Owen Wilson having picked this guy and people being like, "Why him?" And he's just like, "Because we need him. He's the
yeah.
one."
Well, again, if it's confirmed, then I don't know it is. I've just seen that speculation that there will be a lot of Lokis, so there might not be. But I would love to see if there are. I would love to see them like interacting. I think that would be some great content. But the way you just phrased that made me wonder, like, why this Loki? Like, even if there aren't other Lokis, like, why him? Like, why is he being used for this? You know, like, is there something special about him? Or maybe it's like a this shit has to get done. You're the one that caused it, so we're making you do it. And maybe that's true of anybody that messes with time. But
I don't know. I think it'll be about him specifically, and I think they'll maybe not even have a reason why, or they'll keep pretending they're asking and hinting at, oh, there's this reason, and then Owen Wilson could be like, I just picked you out random, you know, true story. Sorry. Or it could end up being like he's the one who'd gone through exactly what we needed him to, so we needed to get him at this moment versus that other moment.
yeah, well, in any case, I'm excited. And the showrunner for this, Michael Waldron, was also one of the guys on Rick and Morty. So I feel like that's kind of like the
Ooh.
perfect, like he knows what he's getting into as far
Tone
as
and
like
vibe.
multiverse and you know lots of versions
Hmm.
of the same character, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say he's probably had a lot of the right brainstorming sessions for this, but yeah, perfect. And I think the tone and vibe of Rick and Morty is gonna fit well into this as well. I think
Agreed. And did you actually?
both will think they're Rick. Like Owen Wilson thinks he's Rick, Loki thinks he's Rick.
I wonder if we'll get
I
any
like
Easter
it.
eggs.
I bet there will be, or maybe in Rick and Morty we'll get an Easter egg
Oh
about
yeah, that would
the
probably even be
MCU.
better. Um, it actually reminds me, thinking of Rick and Morty. Did you see the? There's like an animated character that's in Loki. It's like the Time Variance Authority's mascot. It's like a clock. Have you seen that? I think she's
Mm-mm.
called Miss Minutes, and there's nothing really revealed about it, but I've just seen some real funny speculation that like she's like a torturer in that like because the way time works and the dimensions works, and we've seen like Loki like kind of falling and like coming through portals that clearly the TVA can control these dimensions and stuff that they might just put people in like time void dimensions like where you're basically in prison or like an eternity, even though it might just be like 1 second has passed in real time. So uh,
Uh,
I saw people talking about like, yeah, maybe they just transport them in there, and this Miss Minutes cartoon clock is like torturing them in there.
mm,
I doubt that'd be
that's
funny.
probably my greatest fear, getting tortured in that way, like a time type of loop torture thing. Like,
That wouldn't be
just let me
fun.
take my torture on a normal timeline, you know,
Have
whatever it's
you
got to be.
have you seen that Black Mirror episode that kind of touches on that? It's one with
No,
John
I don't
Hamm.
think so. No, I don't think so. No.
Oh, well, it's good. But yeah, it kind of touches on that stuff. Like, is it moral to like make somebody suffer for what they perceive as like a million years?
God, no.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
Don't sign me up.
All right, I was going to, but I'll take you off the list. They
Thank
were
God.
they
Thank you.
were gonna
Thank you.
give you
Thank you.
$20, so I thought.
Wait a minute. Are you ready to scream there, friend?
Yeah, I guess so. I just will. We've kind of already covered it, but I was just gonna say, what do you think? Like, what's your prediction as far as like Like
I
what's really
think it's
going on in this show? Like is it just him trying to solve these problems?
yeah, I think it is. I think we're getting a guy who hasn't had the character growth with the Loki we want, so they're gonna maybe give him his own character growth here, and maybe by the end we're dealing with an anti-hero. I like the idea that they're both trying to play each other. So I think the whole movie or the whole series, sorry, could be about a building scheme on both sides. And maybe he ends up liking it there and works there. I would love for him to just do this, and each season's him jumping in different places, keeping things in order. But also, if he wants to be on the run from these guys, I'm good with that. I just really like Loki, and I'm excited. I,
Agreed.
I don't care what they do, but any of that would work for me.
And actually, this is, I could be wrong, but I think this is correct. This is actually confirmed to get more seasons, unlike the other two shows. Like they've come out and said that like there will be a Loki season two.
You know what I would like is they have a on the Disney Plus app. They have a section in the Marvel section that's called Legends, and
Hmm.
they've been dropping these out before each series and during the series, and each one will have like an episode that's about 6 or 8 minutes on one of the legends or characters, and they
Yeah,
haven't dropped the Loki one yet. What the f, y'all? Get
it
on it! I want to watch it.
it'll
Please
probably be
drop
tomorrow.
it.
I bet.
I hope they do, because
Is it?
what the hell? Today's Tuesday.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought it was Wednesday.
yeah. They've
Oh
been doing
man.
Loki Wednesdays, so I bet they do that.
Yeah,
Or maybe
no,
they'll
for
do it
sure.
the
I jumped the
Tuesday
gun. I
before.
thought it was today, and I was like, why is it not out? But
Whatever.
tomorrow's Wednesday.
Give me my
God,
content.
I know, but I totally jumped the gun. I need to go delete some tweets probably.
Oh shoot.
Um, but I'm excited for that. I want to watch that. They're gonna do a good job on it.
Me too. That'll be a nice little refresher as well.
Yeah, but again, you really don't have to remember much. You just have to remember Thor 1 and Avengers 1, because everything else he
Oh,
didn't do.
I'm so glad I didn't say this, but okay. So on that note, that it's not the Loki we're familiar with, right? Like, because we're pulling him out of Avengers One, and he didn't have any of the character development in Infinity War. When Loki dies, when Thanos kills him, right before he's like, "Don't worry, brother, the sun will shine on us again." Do you think that was a terrible Loki impression? But do you think that like,
I didn't hate it, just for the record.
do you think that maybe that Loki could have been, if not the one we're gonna see from the show, at least one that like has lived a bunch and then like comes back and like that's the end of his story because that's where he dies. But like that Loki could have been one that experiences the whole show we're about to see. Like, is this making sense? That like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That guy could end up. We could see like off camera part of the scene, and like replaces that Loki or something,
yeah, yeah,
or the real Loki happens to have run away, and we learn that the Loki in our timeline's alive, and the one we see die is the one in the show. And he's killed, but then brought back by the TVA or whatever. That would be
yeah,
really cool.
or
Dang, dude, they need to get you in the room. I like that idea.
even if it
And
is,
if it doesn't happen now, I'm gonna be pissed. So,
well,
God dang it, William.
well, even if it is the same Loki, it's just maybe that's like the end of his story. Like he does die there, but he might have decades of story that happened before that happens. Like that just happens to be his final chapter, but like chronologically that doesn't happen for like another 50 years, let's say. Like he just knows that's the last thing he
Uh,
has to do. And so like he knows the sun is going to shine on them again because he knows he has adventures with Thor that will still happen in Thor's future even though it's his
right.
past.
Yeah, yeah. I get what
Yeah.
you're saying,
All right,
bro.
I just saying it could be that even without like a Loki swap, like it could still be the
Yeah,
same Loki.
yeah. I agree. And in my swap, he didn't actually like swap out. He's just like gone through all the character development of the show, and he realizes, dang, that time that I was gonna leave my brother, I should have been there. And he goes back and he's there.
Yeah. That would be dope.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Yeah, if that
Let's
is
scream about
happening,
it.
I don't
Let's
think they
scream
do
about
it.
it.
They probably do it not in season one though. So
I didn't know there were multiple seasons before this, and I was just they're not right now, so I'm just talking.
me
Just talking
too.
about what exists.
All right, so what about this internal scream? What's your game plan? What's
Yeah,
your game
my
plan for that?
internal scream, never been done before.
Never been done.
You
Hey,
want to see it? I
hey.
mean, are we counting down?
Um. Well, I guess in honor of Loki, my scream is going to be that my brother just tricked me with a snake, and now there's like an unexpected snake in my vicinity.
That's a dope scream.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll count us down. I internal screaming, and then you're going to scream from Snake.
Yeah.
All right, here I'm gonna give us a 4. Are
Okay.
the 4 fingers in?
All right. Yeah, they are.